Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Gurudeva, Jayo Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jayo Gurudeva, Jayo Gurudeva, Jayo Gurudeva, Jayo Gurudeva, Jayo Gurudeva. Hare Krishna. So, we'll be reading in Srimad Bhagavatam today. Canto 5, Chapter 14 and Text 2. Yeah. So I will read the shloka because it's a little bit bigger shloka. And then once we read the meaning, you repeat after me, but not the shloka because it's a little bit difficult. So, Canto 5, Chapter 14, Text 2. Yasyam uhava eta sad indriya namana karmana dasya va eta te tad Yatha purusasya dhanam yat kinchid dharma upayikam bahu krachardhigatam saktam parma purusadhana lokasano yaso dharmastam tu samparaya udhanti tad dharmayam dhanam darshana asparsana Sarvana swadanu navagrahana sankalpa vyavasasya griha grama yopa bhogena kunatasya ajita mano yatha sarsatya bhilumpanti. So we read word by word meaning. Please repeat after me. Yasasyam, in which, uha, certainly, va, or, ete, all these, sat indriya namana, who are named the six senses, the mind and the five knowledge acquiring senses. Who are named the six senses, the mind and the five knowledge acquiring senses. Karmana, by their activity. Dasya vaha, the palandrars. Eva, certainly. Te, they. Tat, that. Yatha, as. Purusasya, of a person, dhanam, the wealth, yat, whatever, kinchit, something, dharma aupayikam, which is a means to religious principles, bahu kricha adhigatam, earned after much hard labor, saksat, directly, Parma Purusha Aradhana lokasana, Pursa Ardhana lokasana, whose symptoms are the worship of Supreme Lord by performance of sacrifice and so on. Whose symptoms are worship of Supreme Lord by performance of sacrifice and so on. Yaha, which, asau, that, dharmaha, religious principle, tam, that, tu, but, samparaya, for the benefit of the living entity after death, the benefit of the living entity after death, udaharanti, the wise declare, Jai Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki, tat dharmayam, religious relating to the prosecution of the varnashram dharma, relating to the persecution of the varnashram dharma, dhanam, wealth, darshana, by seeing, asparsana, by touching, shravana, by hearing, aswadana, by tasting, avagrahana, by smelling, sankalpa, by determination, vyavasaya, by a conclusion, griha, in the material home, gramaya upabhogena, by material sense gratification, kunathasya, of the misguided conditioned soul, ajita atmanaha, who has not controlled himself, yatha, just as, sarthasya, of the living entity interested in sense gratification, bilumpanti, the plunder. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. In the forest of material existence, the uncontrolled senses are like plunderers. The conditioned soul may earn many money for the advancement of Krishna consciousness, but unfortunately, the uncontrolled sense plunder his money through sense gratification. The senses are plunderers because they make one spend his money unnecessarily for seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, hearing, desiring, and willing. In this way, the conditioned soul is obliged to gratify his senses, and thus all his money is spent. This money is actually acquired for the execution of religious principles, but it is taken away by the plundering senses. Purport. Purva janma rijita vidya purva janma rijitam dhanam agre dvati. By following the principles of varnashram dharma, one attains a better position in the material world. One may reach learned, beautiful, or high born. One who has all these assets should know that they are all meant for the advancement of Krishna consciousness. Unfortunately, when a person is misguided, he misuses his high position for sense gratification. Therefore, the uncontrolled senses are considered plunderers. The good position one attains by executing religious principles is wasted, as the plundering sense take it away. By executing religious principles under the law of varnashram dharma, one is placed in a comfortable position. One may very easily use his asset for the further advancement of Krishna consciousness. One should understand that the wealth and opportunity one gets in the material world should not be squandered in sense gratification. They are meant for advancement of Krishna consciousness. The Krishna consciousness movement is therefore teaching people to control the mind and 5 knowledge acquiring senses by a definite process. One should practice a little austerity and not spend money on anything other than the regulative life of devotional service. The senses demand that one is see beautiful things. Therefore, money should be spent for decorating the deity in the temple. Similarly, the tongue has to taste good food, which should be bought and offered to the deity. The nose can be utilized in smelling the flowers offered to the deity. And the hearing can be utilized by listening to the vibration of the Hare Krishna mantra. In this way, the senses can be regulated and utilized to advance Krishna consciousness. Thus, a good position might not be spoiled by material sense gratification in the form of illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling. One spoils an opulent position in the material world by driving cars, spending time in nightclubs, or tasting abominable food in restaurants. In this way, the plundering senses take away all the assets that the conditioned soul has acquired with great difficulty. So, again the same topic, right? Every time we hear the classes, whether it is Bhagavatam or Srimad Bhagavad Gita or any spiritual thing, the main focus is on controlling the senses. Okay, we should not engage the senses in material enjoyment. But then what we do with the senses, right? We have a sense, right? The 5 senses and the mind. Okay, it has to be utilized. The ear need to hear something, right? The tongue need to taste something. The eyes need to see something. The nose need to smell something, right? So can we say that, oh, I will not hear anything, okay? Put a pure blockade on our sense, okay? And then we say that, oh, the senses should not be gratified. The sense need to be gratified, isn't it? It has been, the senses has been given to utilize, okay? You cannot put a total lid on the sense gratification. And that's why the term used is not to shut down the senses, but to control the senses. Okay, the whole objective is not to put a total ban on our senses, but rather the utilization of senses. Because if we put a total ban on senses, okay, it is going to create disaster. Okay, it's a Mayavad philosophy that I will not eat anything, I will not see anything. There was a Gandhi had three monkeys. Okay, I will not see bad thing, I will not say bad thing, I will not hear bad thing. Okay, but in our day-to-day life, okay, the good thing will also come, the bad thing will also come. Okay, unlike the Mayavadi philosophy that I will not eat anything during the day, I will totally stay away and I will eat a little bit of carrot and this and that, right? That's not going to help. You know, the more, and this was an example from a material perspective, okay, the more you try to hold something, the more you put a lid on something, okay, the chances of bursting is high. Like we are cooking, right? The pressure, we put a lid, okay, the chance, wherever you have the lid, the chances that, okay, it will come out slowly. You have this, your fist, right? How long you can hold like this? not long. So anything which is under pressure, okay, cannot survive for a longer time. And in our human body, the senses are our pressure point. Okay, there is always a pressure to see something, to hear something. Okay, and that's the nature of the sense. If we don't have to hear, we don't have to listen, then why the senses are given to us? For what? Just for fun? You have an eye, but don't use it. You have an ear, but don't hear it. No. Okay. This has been given to us to hear good, to hear whatever is required from the bhakti point of view. And that's why whenever we read all those scriptures, it is never said that do not make use of the senses. Okay? It is always said that control your senses. Nowhere it is so said that keep, shut down your senses. Nowhere. At least I have not heard, okay, that do not use your senses. So, the word here, the controlling of senses, is very much important. Okay? Now, how do we control the senses? And that's the whole philosophy, right? That the whole Varnashram system has been created so that the human life has a control on its day-to-day activity, which we are normally performing through our senses. Now, very often we say that sense object, right? This is the common thing which is in our day-to-day life, that we should not get attracted to sense objects. Okay. But is it really that we should not get attracted to sense object? The sense object could be a good object, could be a bad object. If we are attracted towards Krishna, okay, considering that is an object for the sense, it is good, right? So the whole Varnashram system which is mentioned here is basically to regulate our senses. The ashramas has been created that based on your life cycle, okay, where are the focus you should be putting on? Okay, as a brahmachari, where our focus should be? Okay, in the age from 5 to 18 or 23, whatever it is, right? Where should our focus should be? Okay, should it be on the material aspect? When I tell material aspect, even not at all material aspect is also bad. Yeah, because our soul is residing into the material body. Okay, for example, when we come to the temple, okay, we need to be clean, right? We have a material body. The body has to be cleaned. Physically, it's a material body. We know this is made of earth, air, fire, water, and ether. But still, given that the soul is identifying this with the body, okay, we need to make sure our body is clean. You cannot come to temple with unclean body. Okay, even though this is material. Okay, so the material aspects which are also helping us in our devotional service. Okay, you cannot go to altar, just get up, oh, I am not concerned about my material aspect. I have a very pure heart. I just got up. The whole night I thought about Krishna. I just got up and went into the altar. No. That's not what Scripture says. Even those material aspects which is associated our soul need to be taken care properly in a Vedic way. Okay, and that's why this whole system of Varnashram has been created, that you are in this ashram and you have certain job. Whether it is a spiritual, purely spiritual job, or all those material aspects which are helping us in our progress in spiritual mode, in our spiritual progress. Similarly, as a grihastha, okay, you need to take care of your grihast ashram, okay, in a proper way. Your senses should be engaged. I mean, somebody can transit from brahmachari to grihastha ashram, right? That's the normal path, okay? You cannot go to grihastha ashram and say that I will follow the brahmacharya. That's totally illogical, okay? If you are getting engaged or getting married, you have certain duties, okay? In those duties, you have certain material aspects also, okay? You need to take care of whomever you are getting married to. You need to take care of the progeny, okay, which is coming out of your ashram, okay? You cannot simply tell, okay, that these are all material, this is Maya. So you look at your wife and say, oh, this is Maya. Okay. That's not the objective of Krishna consciousness. You have gone into an ashram where you need to perform all those duties, okay, which are prescribed into that ashram. Yeah, you cannot escape that. It may seem, and there where the conflict arises, right? Many people do not, or rather are not able to cope up with their conditioning. Okay, somebody was there for 20, 30 years in a brahmachari ashram. Suddenly one day he has gone into grihastha ashram. Okay, but the conditioning is there, right? It is a spiritual conditioning. Okay, but his mind is made to think like, because for 30 years he was thinking in a particular direction, right? And suddenly he has been put into a situation, okay, where he is in a different ashram, and that's where the scriptures comes into in education of our ashrams, yeah, that yes, you have to control senses, but here the control is different. In brahmachari ashram, the control of the senses is a different aspect. In grihastha ashram, your controlling of senses is different. There, what you need to do out of this 4 principles, that you do not engage into extramarital affair. As a brahmachari, you do not get engaged into any of the sexual activity. But in a grihastha ashram, you are allowed to go do certain things, but within that realm which you have to do. So those are the controlling of the senses. Okay. Similarly, when you are in Banprastha ashram, when you are a sannyas ashram, you have different duties. Right? Those are the controlling of senses. But when we say the controlling of senses, it's not easy. Yeah. Even if you do not follow the scriptures or do not follow the teaching of sadhu and shastra, there is a high chance that you have fall down. All your tapasya of many, many years, okay, may go wasted. Okay. I mean, sometimes it sounds very primitive, right? Earlier, the girl used to get married at a very young age. Yeah. So the notion which was sent to the market, oh, this is child marriage. Okay. But it was really not child marriage. Yeah. So nowadays what happens, the children at the age of 10, 12, 15, they start identifying with girlfriend, boyfriend, right? Because they need somebody to talk to, right? In those days, the girls or the boy, they have been told, hey, you are getting married with this woman or this man, okay, this girl or this boy. So they are basically prepared. They were never living together, you know. So the girl and the boy used to get married at 9, 10, okay. But the girl was never sent to the boy's house. After that, there used to be another ceremony, you know, we used to call in our like the gauna, Okay, so when girl attains puberty, when she is young, okay, she is in a position where she can bear child, then the parents used to send the girl to the boy's house. So this was basically a preparation. Okay, even so that was the marriage. Okay, I remember, and again this sounds very primitive when we look purely from the modern or not modern Western culture point of view. So my grandmother, she became widow at a very young age. So my father was 2 years old and my aunt was 5 years old. Okay, so you can understand at what age my grandfather died. Okay, but she was one of the, stakeholder into the whole property. Okay, so she had to take care of the children. Okay, and there were other people in the family, right? But she never came in front of her elders or the men's, because mostly the property was managed by men. And here was one of the women who has to also look at her interest. So we have seen that in the house, there was a hall here, and she will be always talking, even when we grew at 5-6 years of age. Okay, she was always talking behind the wall. Okay, so there was a big hall here, and then in between there was a small place, and then inside the rooms were there, where the big family used to stay. So she used to talk every time behind the wall. Okay, she never, after my grandfather's death, she never consumed onion garlic. In the family, everybody was eating. Okay, but she never consumed, because these were the rules which were put by the society that a widow can never mix with men. Okay, a widow need to control her sense desires. Okay, and that's why no onion, no garlic. Forget about fish and everything. Okay, so these were the social restrictions, and that's how the sense control was done. Okay, those are the rules which are put by the society. Okay, if you talk these things, oh, such a regressive system. How come the woman cannot come in open? Yeah, but the pitfall of that is that what Arjuna says in the Bhagavad Gita, right? That when men die, okay, who will be taking care of the woman? Okay, the woman will get polluted. Okay, which is natural, because the Maya, the force of Maya is very, very difficult to contain. Okay, and everybody can fall down. There is nobody who is not subject to the clutches of Maya. Yeah, the senses are very active, and one of the most difficult thing is the mind. Okay, the mind is such a big culprit that you can do n number of mistakes, and it will try to justify that using some logic. Okay, you have heard about Charvak, right? Have you anybody heard about Charvak? So he was an atheist. Okay, so there is a Charvak philosophy in India, and they talk everything in Sanskrit. Also, they speak Sanskrit sloka as well, but they are atheist. So his philosophy was that take as much as loan you can, okay, and drink ghee and take rest. Okay, so that was the Charvak philosophy. So even that can also be justified. And you might have seen now in our day-to-day life, even in Krishna consciousness, right? People have a lot of knowledge about Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all the scriptures, okay? And in between, they know that they are doing something which is against the principle of dharma. But still, using one of the quotes from the same scripture, which, prohibits them, they will try to justify their wrongdoings. So it's very easy. So the mind is such an intelligent guy, okay, that it can always justify any condition. And that's where the danger is. Yeah. I mean, here they use the word, what is called plunderers. Okay. The uncontrolled senses are like plunderers. You know the meaning of plunder? Any idea what is the actual meaning of plunder? So, yeah.
Plunderers are those who take something without permission.
Not exactly. The word plunderer, I mean, you are right, okay. But the actual English meaning of plunder means total destruction. So suppose, think about the 1942, right? When the Russians attacked Berlin, okay, they bombed like anything. That is called plunder. So they plundered everything. Now what Israel is doing in Gaza, they are bombing every bit, every inch of land. That's called plunderer, means total destruction. Okay, plundering everything. So suppose there is a Zurichberg, right? And suddenly the government decided that, okay, I want to make here a big stadium for hosting the Olympic. I'm just making a case. Okay, so what they will do? They will bring lot of big machinery and start plundering all the trees. Means totally destruction. So when the tree falls, the actual, when I see the word plundering, means something is falling. Total destruction, when it's totally destructed. So that's the actual meaning of plundering. And think about, okay, what happens when you have spent your so many years of sadhana, bhakti, okay, to keep yourself as a perfect brahmachari, perfect sannyasi. I mean, Vishwamitra, right? He was a great sannyasi, okay. But because he could not, keep his senses in control, okay, only one incident, right? And Menaka plundered his whole years of tapasya. Yeah? It was a total fall down. Of course, Vishwamitra, I mean, he has a good position in the Shastras, but it was a plundering. How much effort he has taken? He was brahmachari, he was teaching, he was a perfect sannyasi, doing everything perfectly. But it was a wish of Indra, right? He said, okay, here is the man, we need to catch him. Okay, test him, and it's gone. And even this chapter, this particular canto, right? And this particular chapter, right, it's a discussion between Bahuguna and Jad Bharata, right, where Bahuguna is doing a graphic description of the life, right, how the bhakti and how the regulatory principle need to be followed, right. And if you go a little bit back on the previous chapter, the Bharat Maharaj, he was perfect in every aspect of life. A perfect king, a perfect household, a perfect devotee. But just because, okay, he was in love with a deer, okay, everything got wiped off. In Hindi se Jindagi bhar ki tapasya, the lifetime sacrifice, has gone, whistled away in a matter of moment. And he has to go through several births. Okay, of course he was a very elevated soul, okay, and he had a chance, okay, to take birth as a deer, and because of his seva to Lord, he could remember his pastime, and then again he took as a Jad Bharat, and it's basically covering the mile again, right? You have fallen behind, again you are trying to cover, okay? But that is called plundering. It's not a small word, it's really very high, high dose with a very lot of gravity is in this word called plundering. But if you look, there is we call it the sense gratification, right? Because of sense gratification, this plundering happened. But we are always gratifying our senses, isn't it? If you look, we are taking prasad. We've taken gulab jamun. Okay, our tongue is gratified. But this is okay. But over gratification is bad. If you take 10 gulab jamun, okay, that's called, plundering. Okay, that's called really, gratification which we should not have. Okay, I mean, just a gulab jamun, right? When in my house, when we used to have program many years back, yeah. So there was a young devotee, so he used to like gulab jamun so much, okay, that we eat gulab jamun, right? He used to drink gulab jamun, so, oh Prabhu, give me in this glass, okay. Of course, that was more on a funny part, okay. But in any circumstances, even in devotional service, okay, we should not be too much gratification to our senses. So, the sense gratification should be in a very subtle way, okay. And the plundering, I mean, if you have a total gratification, that becomes a plundering situation, okay. But if there is a, gradual gratification, basically you are training your senses, okay, to control yourself. Of course, you cannot totally stop, okay, stop the senses, but you are giving very little to senses. So, for example, how to put it? You basically, let us take example, right? We were in the schools, right? And we used to have, I'm giving my personal example so that I can speak it because I don't know others, okay? So we used to play carom, right? Carom, the carom board, and you have a small disc and you play with your finger. So the mother used to tell, hey, you have exam, okay, and you are spending so much time on carom, okay? You should focus on your study, okay? Once your exam is over, okay, I will give you the big carom. You can play with your many friends, okay? So there is now we think that, okay, after the exam, I will get total, total satisfaction in terms of my sense enjoyment, okay? So we stop there because there is a slowly, there is no immediate benefit, okay? But over a period of time I will get, yeah? So the senses are Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki Jai. So the sense gratification is not immediate, okay? The sense gratification here is basically we are telling our senses that yes, you can get little bit of prasad, okay? But once you achieve this, you will get a lot of prasad, okay? So that is called gradual gratification, okay? It is not immediate gratification. In case of Bharat Maharaj, It was an immediate sense gratification. Okay, even forget about we are reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and all, where a lot of these philosophical things comes with picture. So our understanding is, we think that we are understanding quite better. But even in the normal society, okay, they understand this gratification. Okay, sometimes much better than many of the devotees. So there, think about gratification nowadays. Okay, even if you might have seen in the temple, yeah, there is a small child. Okay, he or she is making noise. Okay, the mother opens the phone. Okay, and plays a cartoon and give it to the child. The child's senses are gratified. He is busy there. Right? So similarly, this is called immediate sense gratification. Okay? But there was a very big experiment done, okay? Very nice experiment done. I don't know whether Norway or somewhere, okay? Where they basically assembled some school children, very small children, okay? And the they love the marshmallow very much, right? So they assembled the children in a room, the teacher, okay? I don't know how marshmallow looks like, okay? But I heard that in Western world, the small children are very much fan of marshmallow, yeah? So they assembled the children in a room, and they gave the marshmallow to each of the children and told them that, look, I will go away, okay, but don't eat the marshmallow. All those children who do not eat the marshmallow, they will get 2 marshmallow after 2 hours. So up to 2 hours, okay, you have to control yourself. Huh? How much? For a minute, maybe. Okay. 30 minutes, yeah. So they basically, all the children were there, and some of the children, they started looking at it, and then when they saw there is nobody, they take it, you know. So that is immediate sense gratification. So his senses were so active or so much demanding, okay, that he want to have it now. Some of the children, they basically look at this, touch it, okay, touch the marshmallow, and then lick their finger with this on their lips or on their tongue. They want to test it. The mind and the urge is there to, to grab it, but since the teacher has told, they are controlling in this way. Okay, some of the children, they look here, they look there, okay, and they are able to, but most of them could not control. So some took immediately, some took after few minutes, some took after more minute, and there were very few who basically able to control their urge. And these fellows, okay, the teachers, they monitored those children over a period of 10, 15 years, okay. And they published the study that those children, okay, who show the symptom of immediate gratification, they did not do very well in their studies, okay, and in their jobs, etc. And those children which were able to contain the immediate urge of the sense gratification, they progressed. Of course, it is a material aspect, but they progress well in their life. Okay, so whether it is in the devotional capacity or into the capacity of material enjoyment, okay, the urge or the power to control our urge has a long-term benefit, both in terms of spirituality or in terms of material desire or material fulfillment. Okay, the moment we have this urge to achieve something immediately, okay, that lands into disaster You see anybody, I mean, it's a very common thing, right? All those guys, okay, who fall in love immediately, okay, most of them have a very fast breakup because he can fall immediately in love with this person. Next stop, he will fall immediately in love with some different person. Okay, the durability of this immediate, sense gratification is as long as the durability of the falling into the sense gratification. If you do it fast, it also goes away fast. Okay, so so the whole teaching of the Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita is basically controlling the senses. In the whole Bhagavad Gita, the Krishna, he has the whole teaching what he gives to Arjuna. It's basically to control over his senses, right? Do not go into Arjuna was becoming very emotional, okay? So the Krishna has to speak up. Similarly, even in corporate world, I meet my friends, okay, and when we talk, because I don't eat with them, I don't go to parties, so sometimes they have the conversation with me, okay, that's, what is this, okay? Because in past 20 years, I'm in a company. I never went to any of the parties, okay, which they have. And people sometimes think that he's antisocial, does not socialize. But that's not, it's basically, my senses will not enjoy something. Why should I be there? I don't even put into a spiritual aspect that, okay, I don't want to be a place where there people are eating meat or drinking alcohol. No, that's not my objective. My objective is that if I go there, what is there for me? Nothing. Okay, I can't eat, I can't drink, okay, I cannot talk the language which they are talking, okay, so why I should be there? It's purely material. At least my perspective in those aspects, okay. So sometimes there is a discussion and I explain them that, look, you don't have to do anything in life. Just follow the 4 regulatory principles. Okay, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. And when you talk to them, nobody is ready to follow any of these principles. It will get very difficult. And it's not from Western side, it's people from India. Okay, it's not easy what you are telling. Okay. So that's the situation outside. Okay, that even if the basic minimum thing, okay, where the people are not able to control, forget about becoming like Bharat Maharaj. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to talk today. Yeah, the uncontrolled senses. The most important thing what we learn that we need to engage our senses. The controlled, uncontrolled is a little bit higher level, but most important thing that how do we engage our senses in the activity which keeps us Krishna consciousness and always direct into the direction where we can remember the Lord and follow the principle of bhakti. Thank you very much for listening patiently. If you have any comment or any questions, please feel free. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Nice class. In the purport, Prabhupada is saying that the money that's accumulated should be very carefully, strictly utilized in the service of the Lord, which of course is the correct principle. Krishna's energy meant to be utilized for Krishna's service exclusively. Sometimes in family life, you might have a spouse who is not so Krishna conscious anymore, let's say, not so inclined to practice Krishna consciousness. And then the children come and they also might not be so inclined towards Krishna consciousness. And they have certain expectations. Now we've been working through the year, we've been studying through the year, now we would like to go on vacation. And naturally, they don't want to go on a spiritual pilgrimage. They want to go to a place which is materially enjoyable, a ski trip, or a beach destination. And there's, in a sense, a feeling of obligation that it is vacation time. I can't just take them to a temple or to a holy place because they won't be happy there. So, how to navigate this challenge? In other words, I can go to a beach destination and do my japa walks. Not a problem. I can still engage in harikatha at the beach destination. I can still at least eat vegetarian food that I can say a little prayer over. But is this a strong violation of this principle, or how to navigate this situation?
Yeah, I mean, you are speaking something which is the problem of everybody. Okay, it's not a unique problem. So this is look, these are the real life challenges, right? There is something called theoretical, okay, which we sit on a Vyasasana and speak, right? And there is something called practical, right? I mean, over which you have no control, yeah? And even if you have control, you know that moment I do more controlling, it's going to go out of control, yeah? So many things, right? I will give you one of the example. One of my friend, very dear friend, he has a great contribution in grooming us in Krishna consciousness. So he moved to India many years back, okay, and he said, Prabhu, I mean, I was thinking that the situation is very bad in Singapore, but in India it's worse, okay, and he had 2 children, okay. So in order, and this boyfriend, girlfriend are so common, okay, that he said that very soon my children will be also in that particular mode, okay. So he took a preemptive step, okay. He discussed with some of the devotee friends, okay, he had 2 sons, okay. And he already, created a situation that if he get their marriage engaged. The marriage will happen after 4 or 5 years, okay? But so that the child doesn't go and look for a girlfriend, because the peer pressure is always there. The situation which you explained just now, it's not because the child or wife is bad. The societal pressure is so much that if you are not going to a beach holiday, okay, people will look at you, oh, you don't go to holiday? Okay? So these are the societal pressures. So the pressure on the children were so much that he discussed with the community, okay, and of the same girl, okay, he said, okay, this is your girlfriend. You want to have any discussion? And the parents agreed, okay, that after 5 years, 6 years, we'll get them married. Okay, so these are the preemptive steps which I like the idea, okay, that this is, because this is nothing but the earlier which I was talking that, young age marriage, okay, where the girl really used to get, at the age of 10, she know who is going to be my husband, future husband, okay. Now, the situation which you explained, right, it's not, to be frank, there is a very little you can do. Of course, it is not following the religious principle. Okay. Of course, you are if you have the 24/7 association of your family who is not at all Krishna consciousness, there will be impact on you also. Okay. We can say that okay, I am such a nice person, I always try to detach myself. But given that this relationship, especially the wife, husband, children, it is so much interlinked, okay, that there will be, even your sadhana will get impacted. There is no doubt about it. How long? Okay, we don't know, depending upon individual situation. Okay, so for example, if your in the beginning everything is fine up to the age of 15, when the peer pressure on the children is not so much, they are all fine. But the moment the peer pressure increases, okay, they started seeing that, oh, my father is telling this, that don't eat meat, but this seems to be everybody is eating it and it looks so yummy. Why not I should also try? Okay, and he or she may try. Okay, can you do something? Maybe or maybe not. Okay. Many people, what they do is basically take out their children. In America, it happens a lot. Okay, that they take the children out from school and they do homeschooling. They go and give the exam in the school so that the child is not mingling with other peers who are not Krishna conscious. Okay, it has good aspects also, it has bad aspect also. Okay, it happens that, yes, good thing is that he remains under your control because the environment which you are creating, the ecosystem which you have created, he is part of that. So the chances that he became bidharmi or he is not following the dharmic path is less. But the pitfall of this aspect is that at some point of time, he or she will get exposed to the outside material world. And if you have not teach him or her how to deal with the challenges, okay, there is a high chance that the asset which you saved for 20 years, and suddenly when he see or exposed to outside world, okay, she or he is not able to handle it. Okay, and I have personally seen in the family this is happening. Okay, there are many things where people are not able to handle the adverse situation with a simple on a simple deviation. Okay, so the example which you give, yes, if you are there, if wife is not cooperating, certainly you don't create a mess in your family, right? All you can do is persuade. Okay, you try to limit the losses. Okay, you don't take away the whole structure and throw in a dustbin. Oh, my wife is like that, my son is like that, I will leave them and I will go to sannyas. Certainly, as a grihastha, you don't want to do like that. Okay, so what you do, you cut the losses. When you are in a stock market, when the stock is going down, okay, you don't panic, right? You cut the losses. Here also, you need to think that, yes, we need to go to beach. Which beach? Okay, the child has said that I want to go to a beach vacation. Okay, you can go to Jagannath Puri beach. Okay, nowadays it is also not so nice, let me tell you. Okay. But you can take them to some in the beaches of Bali, okay, if your finance provides that. Okay, if the wife is not so much cooperating, you start cooperating with her in the good way. Okay, but I must tell you, there is no immediate solution to that. These are the practical aspects of life which a grihastha has to deal on a day-to-day basis. Okay, you have seen here, at least I can tell you past 11 years, right here. So I used to come to temple. There are many small children, they used to come. Okay, after 11 years, I don't see any one of them in the temple. Okay, now the other small children come. Okay, but those small children who grew up, probably they are already 20, 25 now, okay, I don't see any of them in the temple. Maybe they are doing something good thing. I'm not doing a judgment, but these are the real life issues. Okay, when we are dealing with the external world, okay, we need a very firm conviction, in sadhu and shastra to sustain that bhakti. I can tell you just very small example. My daughter was going to school. She was around 5 to 7 years old. Okay, so we used to give, because the school was a Christian missionary school. It was just near to my house, and they used to give food also there. But we used to pack the lunch every day, breakfast and lunch. Okay, so that she can sit with the children, because we didn't wanted her to be alien. At the same time, we wanted her to go to school, but remain vegetarian. Okay, so used to pack. So one day what happens that the teacher said that there was a $1 coin here, okay, and I cannot find it. Okay, ask the children who has taken it. Okay, so one of the child told, showing to my daughter, that she has taken it. Okay, and I have seen her using that $1 coin. Okay, and buying that Maggie, that noodles, okay, from the restaurant. Okay, so the teacher asked, "Hey, Rashika, you have taken $1 coin?" So she said, "No." Well, no, the other child is telling. Okay, so that happened. Okay, so the teacher told me, so the teacher so the teacher told her that, "Hey, you should not steal money, which is quite justified. The teacher will tell the students that you should not steal money." Okay, so my daughter came home and they said, "Oh, the teacher told me like that, okay, you have taken money. I have not taken money." Okay, and she was telling you should not steal. So I said, "Yeah, this is a little bit weird, okay, because we always give her money, which she never spends. Why she need to steal?" So I went and talked to the teacher. She said, yeah, there was a $1 she stole, and the other children were telling, okay, that they have seen her eating, and there where the complication came. So she told me the other children has seen her eating noodles in the cafeteria. I said, "Look, I can digest the fact that she has stolen money, but I cannot digest the fact that she has gone and eaten noodles in the restaurant." So that is something which does not sync with my limited, knowledge or my limited trust. Okay. She said, no. I said, "Okay, that's fine. $1 is not an issue." Okay. But eating in the cafeteria will be the last thing she will do. Okay. I told her I came back home. After 2 days, the teacher called me again. Okay. And I went to the room and she said, "Okay, I'm very, very sorry. That $1 was in my bag, okay, and I put that in bag, but then I forgot and it is lying there. Okay, so sorry for all the inconvenience which you had. Okay, you had to come here, and I'm really sorry for that." So the point which I'm trying to derive here conviction that my child, because it's child, right? They can pick up $1, okay? It's not a big thing for a child. But eating, because she has been told, she has been trained not to eat anything in the cafeteria, because we are giving everything into the box. So that basically changed the whole game. But the same child, okay, now today, does she go to the temple every day? No. So that point of time when they did not understand everything, she was very much focused on, I do not this, I every time go to temple, every Saturday we used to go to temple. She was happy to go, but once she grew up, her priority changed. Not because she read something because the association changed. So there is a society pressure. Okay, and if the association, if the children's or the wife or even us forget, okay, we do not get proper association, even all our activity, all our sadhana will get destroyed. It may be a gradual destruction or it may be a total plundering, okay, like it happened in case of Bharat Maharaj, where association of a deer has totally plundered his seva. So we should get, I think somebody told Prabhupada, we should get surprised that how many people are in the temple rather than how many people are not in the temple. Okay, it's very difficult. But that doesn't mean that we stop dealing with outside world. Because if we are not trained to deal with the outside world, the chances of our falling down is more. It's not less. Because in a single wave, okay, if we are, the military, why they do so much of practice? Now, recently there was India, Pakistan, you must have heard, little bit flare up. It was not that they cannot beat each other. Okay, they don't know. Sometimes they need to do war just to test that how much they are prepared. Otherwise, you don't know what is the ability of the other guy. So that's why even from the brahmacharis also, it's important to deal with external world. That's what are the new forces in the market which may, take away my brahmacharya. So we need to keep on testing the grounds, okay? But again, it's not easy. But your problem is real. Unfortunately, I do not have a proper solution, okay, because I am one of you, okay, who has to go through these challenges on an everyday basis. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, वंचा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। This is Hindi Bhagavad Gita for afternoon Hindi class.
By the way, you also have Hindi Srimad Bhagavatam set, you know that?
And Gujarati.